The jungle is filled with beauty and danger, and lost cities filled with good and evil. This is my domain, and I protect those who come here. For I am Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle.
Welcome back to the Call Me Uncle.
Today's panel, the Lord of the Jungle, Tarzan.
Or Tarzan.
Or Tarzan.
Whichever. Heard it both ways.
So welcome to the jungle. Let's begin.
Alright, Tarzan was first written by our favorite author, Edgar Rice Burroughs, in 1912.
Thank you.
Through All Stories magazine. Didn't actually get a book form until 1914. A lot of classic novels got published that way, just chapter by chapter.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Wish we did it more.
Now, I've been a Tarzan fan for as long as I can remember. During my childhood, Tarzan was on TV. He was in comics. He was everywhere and has been. His first movies were actually silent movies. A large number of people have played Tarzan. Multiple publishers have published Tarzan comic books. It all goes back to Edgar Rice Burroughs. He created a fascinating character that I've read. There are 24 books. I've read them all. And we're going to tell you today kind of how I got into that and kind of what it meant. So we're going to start with the comic books. I grabbed these four. So Dell Publishing had been publishing Tarzan, and then DC took over with number 207 and just continued the numbering. And these four retell Tarzan's origin. So Tarzan's parents were shipwrecked or marooned on the coast of Africa. Tarzan's mother passed away after he was born, and his father was actually killed by the apes that took him in.
Was it the Jaguar?
No, it was the apes.
Okay.
It wasn't the Jaguar.
It wasn't the Jaguar.
Nope.
Everybody from our generation
Has been lied to.
You have been deceived.
Tantor is not his friend.
No, Tantor is his friend.
What?
Yes.
Tantor's a great character.
At least we get one.
Get one?
Yeah.
Well, we get one truth from the Disney
No,
Channel.
it was the gorilla that turns on him.
So what had happened was one of the apes, her child had died, and so she grabbed Tarzan as an infant out of his crib and replaced him with her dead baby.
Whoa.
In the crib. So
Jeez,
when you find the house, so Tarzan's dad built them a shelter, a cabin.
Yeah, like a tree house on stilts. It was awesome.
Nice.
And
okay.
when you find that, there are three skeletons, but one of them is actually an ape. Because Tarzan was raised by Kala. She protected him because apes grow much faster than humans and develop much faster. So Tarzan needed a lot of care. And so these four comics tell you that whole story up to meeting Jane Porter. And
Nice.
The first person that really taught Tarzan how to speak a civilized language was Darno. And he's on the cover of this comic, and he taught him French. So in the beginning,
Nice.
Tarzan could read English because he taught himself from the books in the cabin his dad built. He had figured out the patterns, and so he could spell and read in English, but he couldn't speak it.
Awkward.
Oh.
He could speak French.
That's so strange.
Yeah.
What would that even be like?
It's like dyslexia, but on
With languages,
higher level.
yeah.
Wait, so is Jane French or is
No.
she
No.
English?
She's American.
Yeah.
She's American? She's not even British?
Nope.
No.
Disney, we gotta deprogram you from the Disney
you
version.
guys gotta help me out.
We're going to talk... Yeah.
Because I love the Disney version. You know, that's the only form of Tarzan that I've seen.
Okay, movie. Killer soundtrack.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
okay.
but making me into a Tarzan fan, it wasn't actually the comics. The comics, me and Mason's dad, Slade, and my dad, Jim, we were all reading the comics, and they were fine. They were just among the many that we read. And keep in mind, we didn't get them in order, so I didn't know the Tarzan story in order from the comics. And then you have the TV shows and movies, and Ron Ely was probably the most prominent on TV that I can remember, but you'd see a movie and it would be somebody completely different. There's black and white movies with Johnny Weissmuller, and so it was kind of all over the place.
So how could they do that without people suing each other?
They had the rights.
Well, no, they had the rights to produce it.
So one person produced all of this with different characters? One studio,
Yeah.
okay.
I actually looked it up, and it seemed like every decade they got a new Tarzan.
Okay.
And the movies and TV...
It's like Batman.
Yeah, a lot like that.
Okay. Makes sense.
So reading these and watching those did not lure me into Tarzan as much as one thing, and that was art. This picture here is a Neal Adams painting, and the first time I saw it was on the cover of this book. This is Tarzan of the Apes. This was printed in 1975, and the Neal Adams cover is what grabbed my attention.
Nice.
And this is what caused me to not only read this book, but the following 23. So I had read all 24 books. And I remember when I finished reading them being sad because you had spent so many hours in this world and so many hours with these characters, Tantor, the elephant, you felt like it was the end of an era when I finished reading. Me and Slade, Mason's dad, we were talking about this, and he asked me, or we were talking about, what is it about Tarzan? Why am I so drawn to that character? And
what are the characteristics?
Well, and it wasn't even... The first characteristic that came to mind was that he is very uncompromising. Yeah. And that seems odd, but combining, he was very uncompromising because he was raised not by civilized laws, but by the law of the jungle.
Yeah.
He didn't see things through, the scope of a law or a rule.
Yeah, moral compass. What's that?
Yeah,
Compass.
He knew...
Compass, what's that?
Yeah. He knew right from wrong, and he carried it out without compromise. And I really liked that. But the other thing Slade and I were talking about is, growing up, especially in Wyoming, and especially in the time we did, America, the United States, has always been considered the land of the free. We're really not that anymore. We're losing it very rapidly.
Top 20, I just checked that. Admirable place.
Yeah, but we used to be it. And we never thought about it back then. When I was reading these, the place I was fascinated with was Africa. Because living in Tarzan's world, and keep in mind, it wasn't just Africa. Burroughs brought in fantasy elements. Mm-hmm. So Tarzan actually falls into a fantasy category. At one point, Tarzan goes to the inner world of Pellucidar and has the first crossover between series that I have ever heard of. So Tarzan went to the center of the earth, which was an established world in Edgar Rice Burroughs' writing. Mm. And so there were dinosaurs. So there were a lot of fantasy elements. And it was a fascinating world that Burroughs created. I was very immersed in that and the freedom. And when Tarzan does come back to civilization, it's not really to his liking. He prefers, kind of like your dad.
They make him wear clothes and everything.
Mason just got back from a pack trip, and I think your dad is happiest when he is out in the woods.
Well, It's a whole grounded nature. You know, you're not in your mind. You're not in a line. You're not in line. You know, all this structure, but you're of the elements, and you treat them with respect, and they will treat you with respect.
Yeah.
And if not, you could get hurt, and you know you wouldn't do things to compromise that, like climb up a tree and jump out of it, unless you're Tarzan.
Yeah, he don't mind that at all.
But he knows his strengths. Like, you know your physical strengths when you're out.
You know your
miles
limits.
away. Yeah, your limitations.
You find your limits fast.
Because, like, if you get sick out there, if you hurt yourself out there, it's hours to get help.
Well, and that's another part of his characteristics, is that self-reliance.
Yeah.
You know, and Burroughs put attributes into his characters that, you know, used to be really something to look up to.
So it's like a structured moral, like it's the structure of it that you can like put that character into a story and it kind of evolves on its own.
Yep.
Yeah, you can say that.
And so I really enjoyed reading these. Now, again, art is what drew me in, and then the story got me to stay. Mason said something about that one time, that
it's like if you've seen music and lyrics, that music is the sex appeal that draws you in, that attracts you. Lyrics are what make you fall in love with it.
Aww.
So the art will attract you, and the words will make you fall in love with it.
A lot more depth to that movie than I remember.
Right?
And
that's the only thing I really remember about it.
And that's what I'm saying about this. Now, there have been a number of fantastic artists who've drawn or illustrated Tarzan. Frank Frazetta.
Yeah, everybody knows their
top
version.
tier.
Frank Frazetta has worked on Tarzan. William Stout has worked on Tarzan. Joe Kubert, these comics were all done by Joe Kubert, who did, I think, all of the Tarzan comics for DC. Then when the license went over to Marvel, it was John Buscema did a lot of them over there. Those are both fantastic artists. Neal Adams did at least these 6 books, which I have here. He did the covers for those. And then Boris Vallejo, he picked up from there, and he did fantastic work.
Maybe he's that character that is like anybody can like have fun with.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like you get to decide whether he's, I don't know, bulky or lean or, you know, with animals, and then it's and then also the exteriors, which are trees and stuff and fighting scenes and just all the cool things that you want. And then
it's taking all the action, adventure, and fantasy and putting it all in one place, one fantastic place.
Like, he's basic enough that that anybody can draw him, but you have to have something special to make it outstanding, memorable.
And Neal Adams definitely is what drew me in and kept me in, and will always.
Do you think he was one of the first? Was that one of the first times you saw Neal Adams' work?
What was interesting, it was by that time I could recognize Neal Adams' work from the comics, and when I saw this in '75, I immediately knew it was his.
You're like, yes!
It's like, all
finally,
right, I need to read this, and I did. I pounded through them after that.
Sweet.
So Neal Adams is my favorite Tarzan artist by far. When I was actually talking to somebody at his booth, allegedly, because I heard this from somebody, he has a Tarzan painting that he did hanging over his desk. That's what he looks at in his office.
Wow.
Don't know if that's true or not.
I want that to be true.
I want that to be true. Absolutely.
That's so cool.
I can see that.
And
sweet.
we could talk about Tarzan for hours, but we're keeping this short.
We will. Eventually.
We will. I managed to collect all of the Tarzan comic books that DC and Marvel produced in the 70s. If you're interested in owning them for yourself, check out our website, excaliburstrategies.net. If you don't see them there, email me at excaliburstrategies@outlook.com, and make sure to stick around after the outro for the bloopers.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for watching.
Like and subscribe.
Game faces, everybody.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome. Welcome. Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome.
You're welcome.
Tarzan.
Welcome to the jungle.
Nice.
No. That's stupid. Well, what should I say? So, wait, you're going to say welcome back
to They Call Me Uncle.
Today's panel. We talk about of the apes. A man of the apes. Tarzan, the man of the apes.
See, I like Lord of the Jungle.
Okay, so we talk about Lord of the Jungle.
We talk about the Lord of the Jungle.
Not a Lord, the Lord.
The
Biatch.
Lord.
Praise be to thee, Lord of the Jungle. So, welcome back to They Call Me Uncle. Today's panel, we talk about the Lord of the Apes, Tarzan. The Lord of the Apes,
The
Tarzan.
Lord of the Jungle. He was King of the Apes. He has a lot of titles.
Okay,
Yeah.
Lord of the Jungle. Lord
of the
Queen
Jungle.
Elizabeth has like a whole paragraph.
Today we
of them.
talk about Lord, the writer, songwriter. No.
With
Lord
an E.
of the Jungle. Okay, Lord of the Jungle, Tarzan. Today's panel, we talk about Lord of the Jungle.
We talk about the Lord.
The Lord.
The